It's understandable that people want to do the kinds of things they want to do. They want their freedom to do that. But there comes a time when you're dealing with a public health crisis that could involve you, your family, and everyone else, that something supersedes that need to do exactly what you want to do.
No, Dr. Fauci isn't talking about Obama's big birthday blowout filled with all the celebs and dubious dancing techniques. That party was held without masks and inside a tent. Was he mouthing off about that? He's talking about Sturgis, an outdoor motorcycle rally in South Dakota. Now, I'm having deja vu. The same thing happened as last year's event, the one the media also freaked out over, calling it a super spreader. Well, it turns out those concerns were bogus. Out of 460,000 attendees, there was just 0.1% positive COVID cases. Well, that didn't stop MSNBC panic pusher Joy Reid.
As events like the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally become a super spreader in the making, with its 700,000 attendees certain to spread COVID all across the country, Republicans are still screaming freedom. It's about life and death. Republicans know what side to be on, and it seems that they have chosen to be on the side of death.
Coming from a party that embraces abortion on demand. Joining me now, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. Governor, great to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Do you care to weigh in on being on the side of death this weekend at Sturgis?
Well, you just made an excellent point. I think it's interesting that this this political party, the Democrats, who embrace getting abortion on demand, are accusing us of embracing death when we're just allowing people to make personal choices and have personal responsibility over when they want to assemble, when they want to gather and spend time outdoors enjoying their way of life. So we've had a fantastic event here in South Dakota. The rally will end tomorrow or Sunday, I guess, and they're having a fantastic time. We're glad everybody made the trip to South Dakota.
Now, we checked the New York Times website before we went on air tonight, and I think the 7-day average of COVID deaths is about 0.1 right now in South Dakota. So you have among the best results now, given the fact that you didn't lock down, you didn't do the mask mandates. And it seems like you have an enormous amount of circulating immunity, natural immunity from prior exposures. Right. Does that track with what you're seeing?
Yes, it does. We have that going on. We also have over 50% of our population is vaccinated. And the folks that are visiting South Dakota, you know, we need to remind them that people came last year. Out of 460,000 visitors we had last year to the rally, the Department of Health tracked for many weeks after that, and all we were able to verify was 125 cases from the Sturgis Bike Rally last year. This year we're taking precautions. People can get tested if they want to. We've got medical help available if people would like it, and we are conducting this in a way that certainly protects people's freedoms. It's been a great event, and what Dr. Fauci is doing by constantly targeting the Sturgis Bike Rally, by constantly focusing on South Dakota and ignoring liberals who gather every single day, and their hypocrisy is just wrong. I think it's unfortunate he's building a distrust into his profession, because we need our public health officials. We need to be able to trust them, and he's just gotten political and picked winners and losers based on who he likes and who he doesn't.
Well, I don't think he freaked out about Lollapalooza, but they had some vax.
I don't think he's right.
They had some like vax requirement for attendees, but it was outside, and they had very few infections as well. I want to ask you about something we just mentioned, which the Biden administration is clearly floating to see the reaction. A potential federal move to prevent interstate travel among those who are not fully vaccinated, thereby isolating people all over this country. Now, we don't know if this is a serious consideration, but it's obviously in the minds of some of these administration officials, given what they're seeing in some parts of the country. Your reaction?
Well, I wouldn't doubt it if they were considering it, because we've already seen different directives come down from the federal government to our states that some governors are just complying with, and many like me are not. And when this federal administration, when this White House, when Joe Biden oversteps his constitutional authority and takes away people's rights to make decisions that they're supposed to make for themselves, we will stand up. Governors many times are the last line of defense to help protect these freedoms that Americans have enjoyed. And remember, if they come forward with a directive like that, we've never seen that in this country before. It's unprecedented, and it is exactly the opportunity that we all need to stand up and remind this federal government of what their job is, what their job isn't. And remember, we cannot have leaders overstep their authority, especially in a time of crisis. That's when we break the country.
I'm sorry, Governor, one more thing. The migrants who have come into the country, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, 1.4 million have been, quote, encountered, whatever that means, on the southern border.
Yeah.
Are you alerted to the deposit of migrants in your state when they arrive? Are you ever told?
Well, remember this, Laura. I have my National Guard down there on the southern border. I have close to 50 members down there.
Right, but they're still coming to your state. Governor, they're still coming to your state.
No, they're not.
They're not. None of them are coming to your state?
Not that I'm aware of, because I communicated with all of those nonprofits in our state that would accept those types of individuals, and I told them they all need to be licensed. They need to be licensed to be in the state of South Dakota, and if they wanted to continue to be licensed and to do work in our state, which we want them, we welcome them, we have great partnerships, that this is something that we'll be watching and evaluating what they do to break federal law and to violate the trust of the state of South Dakota. So
does that include Catholic charities? Does that include Catholic charities?
It does.
Because they've been funneling migrants all over the country.
Well, I was down there on the southern border, and that's exactly who was funneling them all over the country. And our National Guard originally was observing and spotting these individuals, turning them over to Border Patrol, who then was directed to immediately turn them over to nonprofits who put them on planes and buses and distributed them. So what we've done in South Dakota, I think, is strategic. We've got our guys down there. Our soldiers are down there making sure we're stopping the drugs and the human trafficking that's coming and getting individuals, but also making sure we're communicating with those nonprofits. Yes.
Yeah, Governor, and they care so much about COVID, but they're just waltzing right in with COVID. Thank you so much, and that's fascinating information about how you're trying to stop the influx of migrants into your state. Governor, we hope everyone has a great time this weekend, is safe, and we'll check back with you soon. Thanks so much.
Great. Thanks, Laura.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.